Greetings, tankers! As we promised, we are bringing you an addition to the T-52 guide to let you know how the game changed for this scout after the new physics update was released. We should mention that, in addition to the physics, the traverse speed of the T-52 was also changed. It has been reduced by 10 degrees per minute. On one hand, it solved the problem of the T-52 destroying its own tracks when turning too fast on the slope of a hill. On the other hand, this Soviet fighting vehicle no longer has an advantage in maneuverability over the other Tier 5 light tanks. It definitely helped balance the game. We've covered this new feature, so let's take a closer look at the gameplay changes for the T-52. To begin with, let's talk about the disadvantages. Keep in mind that experienced players can sometimes use a disadvantage to their advantage. Even the smallest rough spot, like rocks or destroyed fences, damaged buildings or piles of garbage, shells of cars, and similar objects that could be ignored earlier can now easily reduce your speed, and that might be very unpleasant for you. In addition, these landscape features are always grouped together so you can lose almost all of your speed just by driving over them. They are dangerous to the T-52. A common example is the railway tracks in Inkst or the highway. Pawns can cause a similar effect. Furthermore, each remade map has even more of these pawns and landscape features. If you drive over some kind of rough spot that looks like a springboard, even if it's a small one at high speed, your scout will jump up and fly a couple of meters above the ground, and you will be unable to turn or change speed. This is very dangerous to light tanks. In addition, if you fall awry, for example on your side armor or only on one track, you may damage your track or even destroy it. The danger depends on the height and velocity of your jump. Every map has these landscape features. Some maps have even more rough spots, while others have fewer, but you should know all of them and drive carefully. They will make scouting harder. Because the experienced T-52 player should scout using landscape features, but now you can jump over them. However, since the physics update, this problem is fairly common for all high-speed tanks. The Soviet scout suffers more from it because of its low weight. The terrain resistance of the ground was increased, which means that now the T-52 has a bit lower acceleration and traverse speed. Now it is harder for you to maneuver and dodge enemy shells or to perform a carousel against your enemies. Due to its power, the T-52 can accelerate up to 72 km per hour on flat surfaces. It turns by stopping one of its tracks. That is why the risk of skidding is extremely high for this combat vehicle. The T-52 can skid not only while turning on a slope, but also while turning at high speed on a flat surface. You should understand that skidding is very dangerous, and you should use it carefully. If you control your skidding well, it will help you get past hard-to-drive-through places or to change your trajectory. However, if you are not able to control your skidding, it can make you fall off a hill or crash into an obstacle. Now it's harder to block heavy SPGs or tank destroyers, since they can easily push your light tank away. However, you still have an advantage in speed, so you can keep out of their aiming area. If you are inattentive or fail to perform a maneuver, you can fall down a hill or even drown. That's why you should drive carefully. You should pay attention when performing the carousel against an enemy, since this can run you off of a hill. And now we'll tell you about several advantages. At least you have a few. All tanks, including the T-52, can move faster than their maximum speed while they are driving downhill. Even the T-95 can move 3 km per hour faster while it's driving downhill. So the T-52 can accelerate up to 95 km per hour if all of the conditions are just right. As a result, you can escape enemy fire faster. However, other tanks also have this ability, but it is not as influential. They can catch you faster or give chase longer if they are driving downhill. Since the physics update, there are far more routes on the maps that can be used to get behind enemy lines and scout them from unpredictable positions or to find and destroy enemy SPGs. You have lots of room for tactics. Your velocity and engine power let you get on top of high hills, which are inaccessible to the majority of other tanks. That is why the T-52 has a new nickname, which is Hill Climber. And you will be a hard target. Some tanks will not even have the proper elevation angles. Well, you can aim into the tops of enemy turrets. But what's more important is that you can bring an element of surprise. The enemy simply won't expect a tank to be able to climb so high. In addition, the abilities of the T-52 allow you to use special routes on the battlefield. You can give a pretty nice shock to enemies by appearing in positions that are supposed to be inaccessible. To sum it up, we would say that after the physics update, the T-52 should drive much more carefully. You should also think carefully about the landscape features and use them to move wisely. Its battle potential as a light tank is lower, but it can rain fire on enemies from above, just like the rain falls on their heads. All in all, the new T-52 lost quite a bit, but at the same time gained lots of new features. It became a realistic tank that is also well balanced. We can't say if this tank is better or worse. Its gameplay has changed, like all gameplay in World of Tanks after the physics update.